I am so excited to bring to you this course. It's a course that I would have loved to have seen when I first started photography, or I wanted to reinvent myself and make my life a lot easier. So this is all about how to shoot with a portable light. Now, I could have called it how to shoot with an LED light, how to shoot with a continuous light. It's basically a light source that turns on exactly what you're seeing right here illuminating me and behind me, light that you can see, and it's continuous. Now, traditionally, you may see lights that are fluorescent, you might see incandescent lights, they're basically normal household globes. Anything that's continuous, the idea of it being portable, it means that you can actually illuminate and place it wherever it looks good. So when you illuminate a face, a body, you can see the results of that light. It makes it a lot easier. So if I was to say to you, anyone for that matter, just starting out in photography, hey, hold this light up to this person and stop where it looks good. Now, what does that mean? Okay, it's basically the direction of light, the size of the light source, the angle, the perspective. Are we creating shadows on the face? Are we mainly photographing on the light side of the face? Are we split lighting as we can see here? Are we turning the face into the light source, creating a shadow over here? Do we have a light on the back of the face, creating a bit of an edge light and a separation from the background? These are all things that we're going to cover today, and we're in an apartment. But the idea is that we are going to turn the lights off around us. Sometimes we might leave them on for a bit of ambience, but we're going to use this light source mainly as our main light source. Now, what am I using today mainly? Well, if you don't know, I invented this light source. I'm a big fan of Star Wars. And if you've ever seen Star Wars, obviously you see the main characters with a lightsaber illuminating themselves as they're fighting a battle, but you see that beautiful glow of light. This light source didn't exist. So I had this idea, and this is my invention, it's patented, and now there's so many copies out there, there are too many to mention, but this here is the Ice Light 3. It's a continuous light source. They're diodes, they're LED lights, and I'll be using a combination of what we call bicolor, which basically means glorified shades of white to yellow, so warm light or cool light, or emulating daylight, as in light coming from the sun. This also has the ability to go to RGB mode, which is basically red, green, blue. It's any color of the rainbow. Now, I'm not going to do too many shots with color. I think that might confuse you a little bit. The idea is that we are going to share with you ideas and inspire you to use a continuous light to bring out the best in your subjects. It doesn't have to be an ice light. It can be anything that illuminates. And of course, if you had a bedside lamp or anything that just turns on with a switch and it was powered, certainly you can use these principles in the exact same way. The idea is that if you can predictably have a portable light source that gives you gorgeous quality of light and place it on your subject or your environment that looks incredible, then now we have the power to replicate that beautiful light in difficult situations. So whether you're outdoors at night, whether you've got really flat lighting and you want to add a little bit of kick of light, or whether you're indoors like we're mainly shooting today, this kind of light is invaluable. So let's have some fun together. Let's see and break down every environment as we're shooting it. You'll notice that I do 5 things over and over and over again. And that is, I look for the light first. Now, ironically, if this is a portable light source that I can turn on, well, think of it this way. If I'm looking for light first, well, let's eliminate that for the moment. What I'm going to be doing is actually going to be placing my subjects in a background of some description. Then I'm going to pose them. Then I'm going to get my technique right. Then I'm going to illuminate them and go back to what normally for me is step number 1 and do it in a way that is complementary. It's flattering and purposeful. The last thing that I do is emotion. Now, this course is not really about how to evoke emotion. Sometimes it could be, I might ask my models to give me a hint of a squint. It adds a bit of mystery to the eyes. It could be looking away, looking down. I could deliberately making them laugh. But the idea of this course is how to actually see light, how to read it, how to create depth, drama, dimension to your photographs, but with the ability to see what you're doing. So to remind you of what my normal process is, light first, location, then I pose, I direct people in a certain way, then I get my technique right, and then emotion. When I'm relying on this light source as my main light and I can turn it on wherever I want to, sometimes I skip number one, I go towards a location and the pose, get my technique as in what I'm doing with my camera, which of course is going to be determined by that light source. And then number five, let's call it finesse, emotion. So what you'll see me doing is now, today I'm going to mainly be shooting with the Nikon Z8. Some of my favorite lenses are the 85mm f1.2. I'm going to be photographing with the 105 macro. I love to get some close-ups as well. And you'll notice me doing these three things all the time. And that is, I'll usually photograph handheld or sometimes with a tripod for your ease of watching me. Otherwise, it might be a bit too jaggedy when you're watching it. But so sometimes with a tripod, sometimes without, depending on the environment that I'm in. I'll shoot with a safe handheld shutter speed. Normally 200 speed, 250, sometimes lower depending on what I want. Then I'm going to choose my aperture, my depth. How many things do I want in focus? And then all I do is I adjust my ISO. And if you know anything about photography, you've heard about the exposure triangle and how these three things will determine what a good exposure is. So I'm going to start off with a safe handheld shutter speed, an aperture depending on how many things I want in focus. Then I adjust my ISO. And of course, that is the camera's sensor sensitivity to the light. And then I'm going to adjust it accordingly. Of course, the higher the ISO, the more grain, the more noise. And I think as photographers, I think we pixel people and we get too funny about raising the ISO. You might find me literally raise my ISO to maybe 10,000 and have no problem. So just remember the quality of the latest crop of cameras, depending on when you're watching this, is pretty damn good. So they're the things that I'll be looking out for. Now, what you'll notice on my camera is a cage which actually holds a device. It's actually a transmitter that transmits my EVF, what I'm seeing in my camera, to a receiver, and it's actually going to show exactly what I see. So when I change my focus point, when I'm changing, let's say from color to black and white or anything like that, when I change those things, you'll see exactly what I see, and it makes for an incredible educational experience. Now, I'm going to be photographing on RAW on one card and then JPEG on the other for redundancy. I find that a lot of people will actually photograph RAW on each card for redundancy. If in case the camera actually gives me a corrupt RAW file, at least I have the JPEG to play with. If I photograph with a different picture control, let's say for example like black and white or sepia or something like that, of course, because I'm shooting RAW, I can do anything afterwards in post-processing. But if I'm photographing in black and white, I'm seeing the end product in black and white. So I have no problem in actually doing that. And also because I want you guys to sort of see what I envisage as the final product. So sometimes I go to black and white, sometimes I'll go to sepia, but I'm shooting RAW and then JPEG on each card. I wanted to really explain what I'm doing technically with my camera and my process first, and we can get that out of the way so we can actually have fun, look at our subjects, and just take our time and diagnose who we're photographing, what we're trying to achieve, what angle I'm going for, and how the light looks on our cool models that we're photographing today. So we have Masha, who I've actually photographed before, and we've also got Thane as well. They're not actually a real couple. We'll photograph them individually. We might photograph them together. And what I'll do is I'm going to take my time and explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Certainly, this is all about light, but I am going to explain my creative process. I'm going to explain to you what I see, the creative triggers in my environment, what I'm seeing is that finished product, and actually think out loud as we go through this process. So we're going to take our time, look at our environment, and have a lot of fun. What I'd like you to do is, whether you like the Ice Light 3, whether you've got any other portable light, doesn't really matter what you've got. The idea is that if it illuminates, you can use it. So take your time. After watching this course and the several chapters that we're going to show you today, I want you to practice this and get your friend, get your cousin, get a model, and have some fun. And basically try to replicate some of these lighting situations that we're actually going to show you today. So get ready for the ride. We're going to have some fun. We're going to play with the Ice Light 3.